My, myself, Fatinisa Begum, Contract Lecturer of Commerce from Government City College, Autonomous, Nayapur, Hyderabad. Today my topic is residential status of an individual HUF company. The residential status, income tax is chargeable in respect of total income of a person earned during the previous year. The scope of total income depends upon the residential status of a person. What incomes are to be included and excluded in computing total taxable income? That is, the income earned and received in India only is to be taxed, or the income earned and received outside India is also to be taxed, depend on the residential status of SSC with reference to the relevant previous year. Because whatever we have earned in the relevant previous year, that tax we have to pay in the current assessment year. If the residential status of a person is resident, then he has to pay tax on the global income, that is the income received in India and also the income received outside India. On the other hand, if the residential status of a person is non-resident, then he has to pay the tax on the income earned in India only. So whatever he earned in India, he will be responsible for paying the tax if he is a non-resident. But if a residential status of a SSC is a resident, so whatever he earned in India as well as outside of the India, then he will be responsible for paying tax on both the incomes. Citizenship of a person does not determine the residential status. That is, the citizenship of a person is determined according to the provision of the Constitution, while the residential status of a person is determined according to the provision of the Income Tax Act 1961. The term residential status is a technical term and it is determined for deciding the tax liability of a person. Citizenship is a general term and it grants the fundamental rights to an individual. Citizenship of a person does not change every year, but residential status of a person may change every year. The change depends upon the movement of a person from India to other countries and visiting India from other countries. For every assessment year, the residential status of an SSC for the relevant previous year is to be determined. For example, an SSC may be ordinary resident for the first assessment year and not ordinary resident in the second assessment year and non-resident in the subsequent years. In simple words, the residential status of a person depends upon his movements, that is, if he is leaving the country and come back frequently, then his residential status is bound to change. That is, an SSC may have different residential status for different assessment years. If a person stays in India for a quite long period, say 10 years or more, then he will be considered as resident and ordinary resident. So an individual is said to be a resident in India in the previous year if he satisfies at least one of the following conditions. So we are having some of the conditions whenever he is supposed to satisfy. According to that, he will be called as an individual. When a person is earning income in different countries for tax purpose, he may be considered as resident in more than one country. But in India, according to Indian Constitution or Indian Income Tax Act, the residential status of a person is more relevant. In case it can be concluded that during a relevant previous year, an SSC may be resident in India but not a citizen of India, and similarly an SSC may be an Indian citizen but not a resident person. For determining the residential status, the term person have been classified. In my previous PPTs, I have already discussed persons includes HUF, individual, firm, association, companies, every other person, partnership and all. So whenever we are calculating, we are supposed to have an information about the person and what information we are supposed to have under that. So according to section 6 contain the provision for determining the residential status of different types of persons. The conditions laid down in this section are very strict and rigid. That is, no relief is granted even if the stay of an SSC falls short or exceeds by 1 day than the prescribed limits. Under the law, every person will be deemed to be a resident and ordinary resident unless and until he proves his residential status to be otherwise. So for this, we are having that is the residential status in case of an individual. The residential status of a person whose status is an individual can be of three types. That is resident and ordinary resident, resident but not ordinary resident, and non-resident. For resident and ordinary resident, he is supposed to satisfy some of the conditions, some of the basic conditions he is supposed to satisfy. That is if a person, if he is in India in the previous year for a period of 182 days or more, or otherwise he is in India for a period of 60 days or more during the previous year, and 365 days or more during the last 4 years immediately preceding to the previous year. Like usually whenever we are staying in the previous year, he is supposed to satisfy some of the conditions. As already we have discussed some of the basic conditions. Like in the previous year, the person is supposed to stay in India for 182 days. For sure he is supposed to stay in India for 6 months. 182 days is nothing but a 6 months. So it's not continuously in manner that few days in 1 month, like for example few days in the month of June, July if he is not staying, then few months in the month of August, or otherwise full month August. So the thing is like not continuously few days in some of the months. The total of that must be more than must be 182. Then he is satisfying the first basic condition. But if he is not satisfying of 182 days, then we have to go for second basic condition. Second basic condition is like he is in India for a period of 60 days or more during the previous year. Like if he is not staying in India in the previous year for 182 days, if he is not staying in the India for in the previous year at least for 6 months also, not for 182 days also, then next thing we have to see. Now what next is like he is in India for a period of 60 days or more during the previous year. At least for 60 days he is supposed to be in India in the previous year. If he is not satisfying 182 days, at least he must be in India in for 2 months, not continuously, but few total of 60 days he is supposed to be in India in the previous year. And for sure if he is not satisfying 182, if he is satisfying 60, then we have to check the any other condition. And the thing is like 365 days or more during the 4 years immediately preceding to the previous year. Like if he is not satisfying the first condition, like for example if he is not satisfying the first condition of 182 days, but if he is satisfying the 60 days, with that 60 plus 365 days or more during the 4 years immediately preceding to the previous year. Previous year we are not supposed to take into condition. Previous year only 60 days we have to take, and earlier 4 previous years he is supposed to, in that 4 years at least he must stay in India for 365 days. If he is satisfying these two conditions, then he will be called as a resident. Any one condition from these two, otherwise 182 or 60 plus 365 days in the 4 years immediately preceding to the previous year. If he is satisfying this, then he will be called as a resident. And we are having some of the exemptions to the condition 2, that is period 60 days is extended to 182 days in the following cases. An Indian citizen who leaves India during the previous year for the purpose of employment outside India. Like for example, because of his employment purpose, if he is not staying here, like usually we are transferring some of the person, like because of some of the work he is the only one who can handle that. So what the company is doing, that they are transferring that person to some other state or to some other country. Because of that employment purpose, if he is going over there, so that we can give some kind of exemption to that person. Or Indian citizen who leaves India during the previous year as a member of crew of Indian ship. अगर आप like if you are going as a member of a crew, then also you will get some kind of exemption under this. An Indian citizen or a person of Indian origin who comes on a visit to India during the previous year, like Indian citizen hai, Indian origin hai, then you come as a visit to India, then you will get some kind of exemptions through it. So we are having some of the exemptions also for second condition, like if you are unable to satisfy 60 days is extended to 102 days, then you will get some kind of exceptions also under this. Resident and ordinary resident according to section 6 subsections. Individual is treated as resident and ordinary resident in India if he satisfy the following additional conditions also. Like for example, for sure he is supposed to satisfy one basic condition, then only we can proceed for additional condition. But if a person not satisfy both the basic conditions, then we can't take additional conditions. Don't apply additional conditions. First see whether the person is satisfying the basic conditions or not. If he is satisfying the basic condition, then we have to go for additional conditions. But if a person is not at all satisfying both the basic conditions, don't apply additional conditions. But if you satisfy any one from this, that two, otherwise 60 days plus 365 days in the 4 assessment years, or 182 days in the previous year. If he satisfy any one of the condition from basic condition, then apply the additional conditions. What are the additional conditions? Are that he has been resident in India at least 2 out of 10 previous years immediately proceeding to the previous year. Like for example, if he is staying in India at least for 2 years, that too continuously, at least for 2 years out of 10 previous year immediately preceding to the previous year. For sure in the previous year at least 60 days, otherwise 182. Immediately proceeding to the previous years. At least he is supposed to stay in India for 2 years out of 10 previous years. If he is not satisfying this also, then we have to apply another additional condition. What is another additional condition? Is that he has been in India for a period of 730 days or more during 7 years immediately proceeding to the relevant previous year. In our first additional condition, what we have discussed, that he is supposed to stay in India continuously for 2 out of 10 previous year immediately proceeding to the previous year. But whereas in second additional condition, what he is asking, that he has been in India for a period of 730 days or more during 7 years immediately proceeding to the relevant previous year. Here they are mentioning 730 days. In the first additional condition they are mentioning 2 years, whereas in here they are mentioning 730 days. That means in some year, in first year you have stayed in India for 100 days, in second year you have stayed in India for 120 days, like that. So at least in the last 7 years proceeding to the relevant previous year, at least in the last 7 years you are supposed to stay in India for 730 days. If you are satisfying any one condition from these two, then only you will be called as a resident and ordinary resident. But the thing is, like, first you have to apply first basic condition. For sure you have to satisfy the first basic, any one condition from basic condition, that is 182 days, or that whatever we are having, according to that you have to satisfy 182 days or 60 plus 365 days in the 4 relevant previous years proceeding to the relevant previous year. Or otherwise, if you are satisfying the additional condition, if for example like first condition we are having at least in India for 2 years out of 10 previous years, or otherwise he has been in India for a period of 730 days or more during 7 years immediately proceeding to the relevant previous year. For example, if you are satisfying all 4 conditions, like additional conditions also you are satisfying, basic conditions also, so you are satisfying, you are not at all going out, you are staying here, you are doing all your businesses from here only, just for some business purpose or for a family trip you are going, but you are satisfying 182 days, you are satisfying both basic condition, you are satisfying both additional condition, then you will be called as a resident and ordinary resident. But if you are satisfying one condition from basic and one condition from additional, you will be called as resident but not ordinary resident. Resident and not ordinary resident according to section 6 subsection 6. Whenever we are taking into consideration about this, what we need to do is, like, whenever you are staying an individual who satisfied at least one of the basic condition under section 6 subsection 1 but does not satisfy the additional condition under section 6 subsection 6, then he will be called as a resident and not ordinary resident. The thing is, like, if you are satisfying both basic condition, both additional condition, then you will be called as a resident and ordinary resident. But here, when you are not satisfying both the basic condition, only one basic condition you are satisfying, and you are not at all satisfying both the additional conditions, then you will be called as only resident but not ordinary resident. You stayed in the previous year, earlier year you are not staying here, then you will be called as a resident but not ordinary resident. Non-resident, individual who does not satisfy at least one of the basic condition according to section 6 subsection 1. As already we have discussed in our earlier slides, that if a person is not at all satisfy both the basic condition, then we are not supposed to apply the additional condition. That means if a person is not at all satisfying the basic condition, then he is not responsible for applying the additional condition. Like here, if a person who does not satisfy at least one basic conditions, what we are having the basic conditions, like at least he is supposed to stay in India for 162 in the previous year, and if he is not satisfying 182 days in the previous year and 60 days in the relevant previous year, otherwise, and plus 365 days in the relevant year, then he will be called as a resident. The thing is like you are supposed to stay in India in the previous year for sure for some period, then only you will be called as a resident. Hindu undivided family, as already we have discussed in our earlier slide, that Hindu undivided family according to section 6 subsection 2, Hindu undivided family is called as is said to be a resident in India if he controls and management of its affairs is wholly or partly situated in India. A Hindu undivided family is said to be a non-resident in India if he controls and management of its affairs is situated wholly outside India. And a residential status of a Karta is considered for determining whether a resident family is ordinary resident. So usually whenever we are taking into consideration about the Hindu undivided family, main thing what we have to take into consideration is like where the Karta is whenever he is taking any kind of decision. For determining the residential status, the situation of a place of control and a management of his affairs are deciding factor. From where he is taking the decisions, where the person is, that we have to take into consideration whenever he is taking any kind of decision related to his business. The other members of a family who are known as the co-parsons are not liable to pay tax on the family income. However, if they are liable to pay tax on their individual incomes only, like for example, if a Karta, because in Hindu and divided family, only the Karta will be responsible for paying tax. Like whatever he is earning, whatever the thing he is managing, only he will be responsible for paying tax. But if in case if the other family members, they will be called as the co-parsons. If they are engaging in some other businesses apart from their family business, then only they will be responsible for paying tax. Otherwise, only Karta will be responsible for paying tax on whatever the income he is having. And main thing is like from where he is managing, from where he is controlling, and from where he is taking the decision is the main key factor over here. Control and management means the decision concerning the affairs of the family are taken. Like for example, business policies and appointment of our staff, etc. The place of control and management is outside India, then the Hindu undivided family will be considered as non-resident. Then the property may be in India. So the property may be in India, but the thing is like when he is taking the decisions, he is supposed to be in India only. If some of the members of or Karta may reside in India, but the place of control and management is outside India, then also Hindu undivided family will be considered as non-resident only. यहीं पे like total year he is here only, but for when he is taking the decision because of some function or because of he went to some kind of relative, because of that he is taking the decisions over there, doesn't matter. The thing is like whenever he is taking any kind of decisions, he is supposed to be in India only. When the Karta does not control the affairs of the family, then the manager's resident status is to be taken into consideration. Like for example, if a Karta is not taking the decisions, if he is giving that kind of right to some other persons or otherwise to the co-partners, then where that co-partner is staying, who is taking the decision, that we have to take into consideration apart from that Karta. So whenever we are taking into consideration, we are still here again we are having some of the conditions which we are supposed to determine. For determining the residential status of an Hindu undivided family, again there are two set of conditions, that is a basic condition and additional condition. The basic condition is for determining the residential status of a basic status of Hindu undivided family. The first basic condition is to be tested is like is supposed to be a resident in India if and control and management of affairs is wholly or partly situated in India during the relevant previous year. And if control and management of affairs are wholly outside India, then Hindu undivided family will be treated as non-resident. Like some decisions he is supposed to take from India. All decisions if he is taking from outside of the country, then that we are not supposed to take into consideration. Some decisions he is supposed to take from India. Whenever he is taking the decisions related to the family business, or whenever they are appointing any kind of staff, whenever they are taking the decisions, even though the co-partners are taking the interview, even though the co-partners are taking the decisions, but the thing is like Karta is supposed to be there in India when he is taking the decisions. If he is not staying in India at that time, then that for total family that will be called as a non-resident. If they are staying here for the full year whenever he is taking the decision, if he is in India, then he will be called as a resident and ordinary resident. Like full year if he is going out, but when he is taking the decision at the time, if he is in India, then also they will be called as a resident and ordinary resident. So the thing is like in Hindu undivided family, whenever they are taking any kind of decision, they are supposed to be in India only, then only it will be applicable. Next is additional conditions also we are having. What are the additional conditions is like wholly the Karta or the manager of the Hindu undivided family has been resident in India for at least 2 out of 10 years preceding to the relevant previous year. Same thing how we are having for the individual, 2 years from the last 10 assessment previous year. Same here for Hindu undivided family we are having. And he has been present in India for a period of 730 days or more during the 7 years preceding to the relevant previous year. Again the same thing, he is supposed to be in India in the last 7 years or 730 days out of last 7 years. From the residential point of view, Hindu undivided family may be resident and non-resident and not ordinary resident. Like in the same situation how we are having for the individual, like the resident and ordinary resident but not ordinary resident and non-resident. These situations we are having in the same manner for Hindu undivided family also we are having the same 3 situations. First situation, resident and ordinary resident. Resident and ordinary resident means all the decisions he is taking from India only. Then he will be called as a resident and ordinary resident. Second situation, resident but not ordinary resident. Some decisions he is taking from India and some decisions he is taking from outside India. Then he will be called as resident but not ordinary resident. Whereas in third situation, non-resident, all the decisions related to the family business he is taking from outside India, then the family will be called as a non-resident. So the same condition, basic condition as well as additional condition we are having for individual as well as for Hindu undivided family while calculating the residential status of a person. Form and association of person according to section 6 subsection 2. From the residential point of view, the firm may be resident or non-resident. A partnership firm is said to be a resident in India if control and management are partly or wholly situated within India during the relevant previous year. If control and management are situated out of India, then only the firm will be treated as non-resident. If the partners of a firm are resident in India, then the firm is also considered as resident. A partnership firm and association of persons are said to be a resident in India if controls and management of their affairs are wholly or partly situated within India during the relevant previous year. They are, however, treated as a non-resident in India if control and management of their affairs are situated wholly outside India. The thing is like the same thing. Whenever they are taking any kind of decision related to that or whatever the control and management they are having, they are supposed to have wholly or partly. Wholly or partly, whatever it will be, they will be called as a resident over here. And the thing is like non-resident, if they are taking some of the decisions from outside of the country, then they will be called as a resident. So the thing is like whenever they are taking control and management of their affairs, they are supposed to be in India according to that information or whatever the thing they are providing according to form and association of persons. Indian company according to section 6 subsection 3. Indian company is always resident in India. Foreign company is resident in India only if during the previous year control and management of affairs is situated wholly in India. And a foreign company is non-resident in India only if during the previous year control and management of affairs wholly or partly situated outside India. Whenever we are calculating for companies, a company which is incorporated under the Indian Companies Act 2013 is known as Indian company. Thing is like first we have to take into consideration whether it has been registered, whether it has been incorporated under according to Indian Companies Act 2013 or not. And from the residential point of view, a company may be a resident or non-resident. It will we are not having resident and ordinary resident but not ordinary resident, non-resident. We are not having. Here we are having only 2 situations, that is a resident and non-resident. A company shall be said to be a resident in India if in a previous year if it is an Indian company that is incorporated in India or place of its effective management is that in that year is in India only. From wherever you are handling that situation, that does matter. For this purpose of this clause, place of effective management means a place where the key management and commercial decisions that are necessary for the conduct of the business of an entity as a whole or in substance mode. A company which is not an Indian company and whose control and management is situated wholly or partly outside India, then it is considered as non-resident company. Control and management means the place where the meeting of board of directors is held and not the place where paid employees, professional managers will carry on their jobs. A foreign company shall be treated as a resident in India if the business of a company is wholly controlled and managed in India. That is, a foreign company shall be treated as a non-resident if its control and management is wholly or partly control and managed from outside India. So the thing is like here in company we are having only the two, that is the resident and non-resident. So whenever we are taking any kind of decision related to our company, we are supposed to be in India, then only will be called as a resident. If we are taking some of the decisions from outside of India, then we will be called as a non-resident. The thing is like whenever you are taking any kind of decisions, you are supposed to be in India only, then only you will be called as a resident and Indian company. Otherwise, if you are not taking any all the decisions from here, then you will be called as a non-resident. We are having some of the residential status for association of persons also according to section 6 subsection 4. The example for an association of persons can be a cooperative societies, the clubs, charitable institutions, etc. The residential status of an association of persons may be a resident or a non-resident. Same thing how we are having for the company. In the same manner, we are having for firm association of persons also. To determine the residential status of an SEC, the place of control and management are to be considered. If a place of control is partly or fully within India, then it is considered as resident. In other words, if the place of control and management is out of India, then the association of persons will be considered as non-resident. In the same manner, we are having for every artificial other person according to section 6 subsection 4. Every other person includes a local authority and an artificial judicial person, etc. The residential status of these persons is determined by applying the test of situation of place of control and management. If the control and management is wholly or partly situated in India, then it will be treated as resident. But if a place of control is wholly out of India, then it will be treated as a non-resident. So the thing is like whenever we are calculating the residential status, the thing is like in our individual and Hindu undivided family, we are having three different things, that is resident and ordinary resident, resident but not ordinary resident, and non-resident. So the thing is like in a Hindu undivided family and in individual, we have to take the basic condition and additional conditions. In our basic condition, we are having two basic conditions. That is, first basic condition is like in the previous year he is supposed to stay in India for 182 days in the previous year. If he is not satisfying this condition, then we have to go for second basic condition. What we are having the second basic condition is like in the previous year he is supposed to stay in India for 60 days, at least for 60 days, and plus 365 days in the relevant previous year, proceeding to the relevant previous year. These two basic condition, if he is satisfying any one from this, then we have to apply the additional conditions. What additional conditions we are having is like from the last 10 years, at least he is supposed to stay in India for 2 years. From the last 10 years, he is supposed to stay for 2 years in the relevant previous years. Otherwise, if he is not satisfying this, then we can go for any another additional condition. That is, from the last 7 years, at least he is supposed to stay in India for 730 days. In our first additional condition, as already I have discussed that, at least he is supposed to stay in India for 2 years. There I have mentioned the years, 2 years, but here I am mentioning the days. In second additional condition, he is supposed to stay in India for at least for 730 days out of 360 out of last 7 years. So for individual as well as for Hindu undivided family, we are supposed to apply basic condition as well as the additional condition, whereas for company, Hindu undivided family, firm, every other artificial person, we are not supposed to apply basic and additional conditions. The thing is like just we have to check whether from where they are taking the decisions, like whatever the decisions they are taking related to their business, or whenever they are appointing any kind of person in their organization, from where they are taking the decisions, that we have to take into consideration. Main thing, like whenever they are taking any kind of decision, they are supposed to have they are supposed to stay in India only, then only they will be called as this. Otherwise they will be called as a non-resident. So some of the decisions they are supposed to take from India, and some of the decisions if they are taking also India, then also they will be called as a resident.